Welcome back, Divergent Ave podcast. I am doing a solo episode because I have been in a motherfucking burnout for nearly 3 weeks and it's getting worse and worse. And I know that actually a few of my friends are in burnout mode at the same time, which is actually quite good because there's no pressure either way to get back to each other. But when I do these episodes, I really like to stay on a topic that's like relevant or can easily come to my mind because it's happening. And it's like, well, burnout. I'm not out of it yet. And the more it drags on or the longer it drags on, the worse it gets. I know now that burnout is this inherent motherfucking cycle that's all part of me, at least my ADHD. And I know it is for a lot of others. And it can really get in the way of your life and be so frustrating. I mean, for example, yesterday I was a guest on a podcast. There was 3 of us and the 3 of us had ADHD. And I want to say though, I was actually really ready to bring it, but it wasn't my usual time of when I would fire all cylinders, which is, later in the night. It was in the morning, but something told me like, you can pull this out. But between the 3 of us, it's like when you get those soccer balls and you go to bounce and they're flat. It's like that was us. Yeah, not enough planning because it was just too hard. And then trying to jump into it. And obviously the 3 of us just were not shining and sparkling and we couldn't move from topic to topic. Usually it's like, that makes me think of that. That makes me think of that. And it's quite connected the way that we go. But this was bunny hopping up a hill. It really was. And then it actually got into 45 minutes into it. And one of the hosts just called it. It's like, let's just stop recording. This just is like not working for us right now. And it was actually kind of refreshing because you always think it's you that can't bring it to the table or bring your A game. But I know all of us have these moments where it's a really big opportunity or something that's important, but the context and the conditions for us, for whatever reason, is not right. And it is so frustrating. You take your shot, you miss your shot, and that was your shot. And I used to go away from situations like that and just be like beating myself up inside, like, you moron, you idiot. It would be all part of like a moral failing, not a symptom or a trait of how my brain works and other people's brain works. Who knew back then? I know that I've gotten better at accepting it and just trying to go with the flow. The only problem is that the world doesn't really go with the flow with that and understand. And employers or people that are doing services for you and they need an answer, or school admin, or, oh gosh, that reminds me, I have to send, remember that. I have to send a photo in. I should put that in my notes. It was Thursday, wasn't it? Yeah. I'm doing this because this is who we are. Okay. Send photo. Okay. Screenshot it. That's my calendar. Screenshots. Where was I? School admin C, there you go. Everyone else that runs on a normal timeline like the world doesn't really have a lot of sympathy or understanding for how frustrating it is and how you actually are really trying your best. And I know that we all are. I actually think that we are the type of people that, like, we just never give up. We give our all. We're always 100%, but then, something can really throw us off, and it sucks because a lot of it is about conditions. So time of day is different for everyone. I feel like everyone's got their best period during the day where they're firing all cylinders. I know for me personally, it's getting into the night, and I think that is because it's quiet. I feel like there's no one annoying me. I'm not getting, ding, 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 ding. I'm not getting distractions. I'm not getting stop, start. I can just be at peace, But not everyone lives like that. And it's really hard trying to keep up in kind of a normal timeline with the world when you are going in a constant state of burnouts. Other conditions that can really throw us is, how much sleep we've had or haven't had, how much we've eaten, haven't eaten, how much we've got on our mental load, on our plate at the time. If it's in a fucking storm, that's probably, the worst time to try and perform. And sometimes that's out of your control. It really is. And probably one of the biggest conditions would be emotions and where you are on the emotional regulation kind of scale. And I'm pretty good at it now. I can definitely say that. I mean, if it's super important, I can bring it. But oh my gosh, the majority of my life depended on my emotional state. It really did. Looking back on some of my school reports, I can tell when I was going through being bullied at school or I was going through a breakup, because I just would bomb for 3 months. I'd just be failing. And the comments from the teachers, they're just absolutely baffled at how this diligent, perfectionist, good girl who is intelligent just can't bloody pass all of a sudden. And then it would just be put down to, well, she hasn't studied, you know. And back then, I had no awareness of what was really going on. You know, it wasn't external factors. It was, I'm dumb and I'm a moron. And so that's going to make me more upset and more anxious and have even less self-esteem. And it's just been a really, really awesome avalanche since until 3 years ago, really. And I know that that is such a thing. It's really hard for us just to switch off that emotional switch, you know. Even at university, I like that sinking feeling of your boyfriend's broken up with you, or you've gotten in a fight, or something is like really hit you, and that feeling of your stomach, and you cannot concentrate all day. It really takes it out of you and you don't choose it. I think another really important condition is how you're feeling about yourself as well at the time. And I don't know about you, but for me, it can rapidly change. I could be really confident, and then I might have an hour where I'm just really overthinking everything and I don't feel good. That can really impact someone. Confidence and self-esteem, how you're feeling in the moment, can be quite fluid. And that is really hard to wrangle, that stuff. Sorry, my dog just got attacked by my cat. Okay. I know I don't talk. Oh my gosh. You just can't be sad with a sausage dog, you know? Like, look at her. This was probably one of my favorite impulsive, didn't think too much about it decisions. You know, you've got a toddler, you've got a 1-year-old, let's get a dachshund. You can't believe everything you read on the internet. You know, they don't even bark. They weren't bred to bark. They weren't bred to have the loudest bark, you know? I don't even have sensory issues around noise. It's fine. So yeah, I mean, confidence and self-esteem is really fluid, and you never know how you're going to be feeling in like an hour. So you take all these conditions, and that's just some of them. I know that there are many, many more, but because of burnout, I can't even think of them right now. But when you don't perform to what you know you can, and when you're not aware of what is actually happening, I mean, no wonder we all have rock bottom self-esteem before being diagnosed, because you do internalize it, and it's just you're dumb, you're a moron, you can't perform. And then that also gives you anxiety of like, well, I've got a history of not performing under pressure or a big moment, or I effed that one up. And that can then just create more of those moments. So it's really beautiful. No wonder we're all kind of traumatized, and no wonder we all have sarcasm and dark humor, because we've been so traumatized by life and letting everyone down. Then obviously one of the biggest condition, which is probably stacked above all the other conditions, is being in a burnout or not. Even doing that podcast yesterday, or attempting to, you know, I could have been better. It was just almost feels out of your control. And maybe that's why we've all got really good sense of humor, because you've just got to pick yourself up and keep going again. Okay, you're getting a little bit hot now. Notice a pattern with my burnout, and that is everything seems just too hard and too impossible. And it kind of just compounds every day. Everything is too hard. Just replying to someone, just doing a simple task, just doing the washing or the tidying up. I mean, what I do is what I'm doing right now, and that is I go to a space in the house if I need to get work done, and I like hide from the mess in the rest of the house, because you can get RSD from inanimate objects and spaces, because I've said so. My journal is being tucked away somewhere because I haven't been journaling, and I just feel it's looking at me like, I was there for you when no one else was, and you're just going to leave me like that, you just wordless slut. It's kind of this whole like out of sight, out of mind. Like, yeah, you know that you will have to face it one day, but it will be when you are not in the burnout mode and you can pick the clothes off the floor and make the beds and do all the stuff. Another thing that I notice I do is that my sleep gets worse and worse and worse. And I think that's because I become less productive in general. So then my mind is racing. You haven't done this, you haven't done this, oh, you haven't done this. Instead of doing it because it's impossible, I'll just think about how I haven't done it and how I need to do it tomorrow. But then my brain will keep me up for so many hours, just torturing me. I don't know how to shut that part of my brain off unless it's, a quetiapine or a zopiclone. I really don't know how to think my way out of that one, or not think your way out of that one, I suppose. But yeah, and it gets worse and worse and worse. And then one day I suddenly sleep for 12 hours and it's like I've been recharged. It's like I'm an electric car that has been recharged and I'm on full battery and I'm all go. And I will say that the most magical moments of creativity, productivity, sparkliness are always when you're freshly re-emerged from burnout. If I could time big events or kind of important things in my life around that, that would be wonderful, but we can't, because I feel like we are either absolutely brilliant or we just crash and burn. We're never the porridge that doesn't taste too hot or too cold. It's just that extreme or that extreme, and you don't know which one you're going to land on the day. I am just verbalizing this because I know that it's not just me. I've got so many neurodivergent friends now that we can talk about this stuff, and it's so refreshing to be able to talk to someone about the stuff. We can really understand each other's burnout modes, and there's not even any need to kind of do a debrief after the fact because you don't even want to talk about it. You just keep moving on, and that's beautiful, but it's frustrating and sad that the way the world just doesn't understand it. But I can see why. I won't reply to people, but I will make a reel or I'll do a story. But if I could explain it to a neurotypical, so that's different parts of our brain, right, working. It's like different stomachs for dessert and your mains. It's exactly the same thing. If I could just try describe that to someone, because I fully understand. I know how it looks. I haven't replied to someone about something really important, but I'm posting a story in a TikTok, it makes sense to me, and I'm not being rude, but I can absolutely see how it's rude. But it is different parts of the brain. It's not using executive function. It's kind of like stress relief, fun. But it's exactly like you're really full, but suddenly, you could eat everything on the dessert menu. It's the same thing, it really is. I just remember back in the day when I would just be rushing around at this point, kind of overcompensating, over people pleasing, over apologizing, sorry. And inside just absolutely crumbling, just trying to hold it together and not just allowing myself to be like bleh. I can see that that's what we do because we're not dumb people. We know that it looks rude. We know that it looks flaky. We know that, you look useless or, you're not reliable and you can't be depended on. And so you go into this rush or this whirlwind, kind of overcompensating. That's where you get into trouble. It's just this real theme and this real, pattern of when you don't know what's going on. But you people please, you bend over backwards, you'll do anything because you're trying to make up for this kind of social faux pas or this kind of moral failing inside of you, any way that you know how. And, you don't realize you're actually even doing it until, you get further on in the journey or whatever you want to say. I look back, it's like I just was this chasing my tail, trying to, get everyone to approve of me when I wouldn't reply to an email, or just live in absolute fear when you'd get a text saying, hi, I haven't gotten a reply from you again. It's just like, oh my gosh, what do you want from me? I'll do anything. And then you get taken advantage of, or you have the wrong people around you. And it's just this real shit show when you really unpack all of it. So honestly, guys, I actually don't blame us, for the trajectory that we do go on when we're not even aware of what's happening. And, even when we are aware, I do catch myself kind of going back to those tendencies of trying to, make up for it or, go out of my way. And it's just like I was really just struggling to start the engine. And It's because you know that a lot of people don't understand it. And yes, while I'm in a place of post people pleasing era, I like to say, you lose a lot of people. Like, you lose a lot of people. The right ones are around you, but even when you do have some of the right ones around you, especially if they're kind of neurotypical, even they get annoyed at you. And I can understand why. I know that it angers people. I know that it disappoints people. But the thing is, I know that this pattern and going through periods of being unresponsive or just dropping off the earth, or my big one that I'll do, I don't mean to, is like, you'll never guess what happened. And then I just never reply. And people were just waiting to hear something. And it's, you've missed my sparkle era. You know, I'm in my burnout. I can't tell you. I mean, that's frustrating. I really believe that, you know, there's people pleasing, but then there's also the skill to be disliked and the skill of disappointing people or having people angry at you and just not letting it affect your narrative or your self-esteem. And that's something that I've recently mastered. I might have some moments and stuff, but it doesn't really derail my whole self-worth like it used to. There might be a period where I feel a bit like sensitive and bad, but I get through it and then I keep going. And that's what it really is, because at the end of the day, I really think that I can't change burnout cycles for me. I can't. I'm not going to fight it anymore, because have I won? No, it comes, doesn't it? It comes anyway. I can't fight it. I can't change it. I know it's a very, very, very common with how we work. I can't go around people pleasing. And the last thing to do is just to sit with pissing people off, just pissing people off, having them be angry or disappointed at you and not letting it crumble you inside. I think that is like the biggest skill. You know, even at the moment, I know that I've got to go back to some people and eventually reply, do some admin that I was meant to do, reply to school admin. There's people, even currently right now, that are low-key a little bit disappointed or annoyed or feeling a bit let down or angry because I haven't followed through with something. I really just suck it up, buttercup, because until next time, bitch, because this is going to keep happening over and over again. I love my neurodivergent friends and I understand the burnout. And does it make me think of them differently? Absolutely not. When I hear that some of my friends are in a burnout, I don't actually think any different of them. So why should other people think differently of me if I've explained it? I mean, obviously I can't explain it to strangers that I need to reply to for admin and work and stuff, but the ones that their opinions matter to you, they actually won't, or they shouldn't, think differently of you if you can't respond to them and if you can't show up exactly when you need to. The one thing that I will say is a benefit, because you've got to look at the silver lining of having your kids for half their life, which is a sad reality. But I know that when they go back for a week, that is my week of rest and it's coming up, and I know that I can crash and burn and not have to take care of someone other than myself. You know, parenting is so fucking hard, whether you're single parent or not. It's just a jungle out there. So I will say that I do look at the silver lining for that. I will get to just bed rot for a day and then I'll come right. I'm also just going to wrap this up in true burnout style, and that's just I don't really have an ending. This is the reality. I am foggy. I'm really not on my game. I'm not organized. The house is a mess. There are so many people I need to reply to, so many jobs I need to do, so much sleep I need to catch up on. But this is who we are. I'm just so goddamn tired of trying to fight it and trying to change it because I haven't figured it out. So hopefully next time I'm on here, that bitch will be back. But that bitch is in burnout right now.